we want to make sure that we have 4 pre-swing fundamentals that are correct every time. It takes no skill, it takes no talent, but if your pre-swing fundamentals are on, then you're going to be incentivized to make a good swing. If you've got a problem with, say, something very basic like your alignment, well, if I line up, and you can see I'm going up towards that blue flag there, can you see that, Jay? Well, if I line up like this, and I make a really good golf swing, an efficient swing, the ball can't possibly go to the target, right? So I need to incentivize myself to make good swings. So the one thing we want to do, what I like to start with everybody is actually the grip, because it helps with the club face. Okay, so when we grip the club, and if you guys don't want to grab a club, that would be great. We want to make sure that we have the grip down pat. It takes no skill, it takes no talent. It's just attention to detail and practicing those details. Okay. So is everybody here right-handed? Are we lucky about that? Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my left hand. I'm going to start with my left hand, and let's just think about something. When we just kind of let our arms hang straight down from our shoulders, and if I bend a little bit, see how my palms of my hands point kind of in towards my body a little bit? They're not like this. So we want to take advantage of that with our lead hand, our left hand, our top hand. So I'm gonna start off getting my club face square to my target line, so square right out in front of me. So let's get everyone out, get their club out in front of them, so it's square to their target, which would be basically, you know, perpendicular to whatever line is parallel to that you're on. And I'm going to pull the club over to the side, keeping the club face square, and get my hand hanging right down from my hip, just naturally how it hangs from my hip. See that? And I can feel, without even looking at it, I can feel that my thumb is on the inside part of the grip a little bit. And I can feel that the knuckle on my forefinger here has moved a little bit to the outside. And if you look on your grip, you probably have some sort of an alignment aid, and that alignment aid should be going right in between, some center point should be in between that thumb and that first knuckle on your forefinger. Can you angle it down so we can see that?
Yep, you're good.
Like that, right? Good. So see how your golf pride thing goes right up in between there, right? Hey, nice grips, Rick. You get the same grips. Good, Jay. Awesome, Jerry. See, it goes right in between there. So that's going to be our top hand grip. And the reason we want to make sure we do that is it makes it easy to get the club closing. Now, we don't want to hit the ball with a closed face necessarily, because every ball is going to go left for right-handed golfers. But what happens is, if I'm more predisposed to allow the club to close, well, now I'm incentivized to move my weight into my front foot to get the handle leading, and I'll be able to hit the ball and then the turf. People who grip the club weak like this, well, those people, they have a really hard time squaring the club face. If they make a really good swing, can you see that face is open there, Jay? Right? Well, that's going to make every ball go to the right. So people who grip the ball weak with their top hand or our left hand, they tend to kind of flip the ball a little bit like that. And you see them a lot of times with weight in their back foot and the club passing their hands, and we do not want that. We want weight forward, hands forward, and that top hand grip like this helps us do that. Okay? Have I beaten that horse to death yet? Yeah? Bottom hand. So let's take our top hand off the club and forget about our top hand. Bottom hand, I'm going to go ahead and put my bottom hand on as if I was only going to play with one hand on the club. So forget about what you do and just pretend you're going to play just with your bottom hand on the club. So Jerry. So your palm of your right hand is the same angle as your club face. See that?
Yep.
They match up. Jay, same thing. Greg, same thing. Rick, same thing. So what happens is, really intuitively, if we say, hey, just pretend you're going to play golf one-handed only with your trail hand, people almost always put their hand on my bottom hand, my right hand, so that my palm is going the same place as my club face. Okay? So now let's see if we can put them together. Top hand on first. I'm going to bring it over here to the side, right? Right? And then the bottom hand. And there's my grip. Great, great, great. Can you rotate this way a little bit for me, Rick, so I can see that? Oh, no. Yeah, great. What's up, Andy? Okay, so now we've got our grip on. And boy, oh boy, when your grip is on, fundamentally sound, things are gonna be good, okay? Next thing we're going to talk about is going to be ball position. And I'm going to talk ball position now because Pat's got the camera over here and we can see it on the camera easier. These are just the 4 pre-swing fundamentals. We want to get them all down. With a short club, I want the ball positioned about the middle of my stance. Okay? The longer the club is, the farther forward in my stance that ball is going to move. See how I'm doing that, by the way? I'm making the longer clubs, I'm taking my trail foot and just moving it back. So that might be like my driver. Now, of course, I'd be standing farther from the ball with my driver, right? Okay. One of the common problems we get is people heard what I just said, and they remember it as, oh, the short clubs, you want the ball on your back foot, the long clubs, you want the ball on your front foot. That is not what we want. And the reason for that is, number one, a minute ago I said we want to incentivize ourselves to get weight into our front foot, right? If I play the ball way back here in my stance with my short clubs, well, I'm not going to incentivize myself to get forward, because if I play the ball back there in my stance like that and I hit a good shot, I'm going to catch the ball as the club is still coming down quite a bit. The club is going to be swinging to the right, and I'm probably going to hook the heck out of every shot. It's because it'll be easy to get my face a little shut to that path, and I'm going to hit pushes and a ton of hooks. When it comes to driver, you know, we want it up more forward in our stance. There's a little bit of room for people to kind of fine tune that, but basically the short clubs are middle, the long clubs are way more up towards the front. The reality is I'm only making about that much of a difference in ball position. All right? So that's 2 pre-swing fundamentals. Anyone guess what another pre-swing fundamental is going to be?
Stance?
Yes, stance. So we're going to start that off from here since the camera's here, right? So when I set up to the ball, notice how my right shoulder, my trail shoulder, is going to get lower than my lead shoulder. See that? Now I want to achieve that not just by drooping my shoulders. I want my spine to tilt a little bit, like that. And we're not going to get into this in the swing too much, but I want my spine to basically stay tilted like this all the way through my backswing and all the way through impact. But for now, we're just going to have that little tilt. And can you see, Rick, by any chance how I'm doing this? I'm taking my lead hip and bumping it towards the target and just letting the entire spine tilt. I want to maintain that nice neutral spine angle, but just tilt it. We call this a secondary spine tilt. Okay? Anyone want to guess the primary spine tilt is? It's looking at my spine from that angle. Okay? So let's bring it around back this way, Pat. Okay, the second half of our setup is really posture. And here's what I'm really looking for. I'm looking to, number one, get the shaft of the club pretty close to 90 degrees relative to my spine here. I don't want to be here. Like I wouldn't hit a ball like this. I would hit it preferably like that. And if I was playing baseball, it would look like this. And if the pitch was low, I would just bend a little more from the hips and go get it this way, right? So I basically want this pretty close to 90 to my spine. The other thing I want is I want the butt end of the club pointing right at the top of my hips, which is going to be my belt line. Okay, so a great way to get a feel for that is this. I'm going to stand way away from the ball on purpose. I don't want to like pre-commit my distance from the ball, because if I decide, oh, I'm going to be here and I lock into that and I try to get set up, well, who knows what that's going to make me do, right? So I know I'm too far away. I'm going to set up with the shaft horizontal to the ground, pointing at my belt line. And I'm going to try to maintain this 90-degree angle from my spine to the shaft as I bend. Right about like that. My arms should be hanging straight down from my shoulders, and the butt end of the club should be pointing at my belt line. And then I'm going to just kind of shuffle up to the ball to know that I've got the correct posture. Okay? So that's just a basic good way to get our posture. One other thing, some people really work and try to get good posture, and they end up really kind of sticking their butt out. We basically want the center of our hips right on top of like our ankles there. That's where we basically want that to be. We don't want to be too far back like that. Okay? And then the last thing, but what might be the easiest thing, because you only have to do it one time when you practice, is alignment. So what I've done here is I've got this white stick in front. Whoa, this white stick in front is lined up at the actual target. Is that like on the blue flag or the red flag, Pat? What's that at?
The red one about a yard to the left.
About a yard left of the red flag. Okay, yep. And then I want this stick parallel to my target line. So when I go to get set up and I'm hitting my practice shots, I can look and know exactly where I'm lined up. So I know when I'm lined up. Now when I hit my shot, if it's not at the target, even if I don't try to get all technical, oh, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? At least up in here, I'm getting feedback on where the ball went. And just think again, if you were just playing any game, if you were playing basketball and you weren't so serious about it, and you're throwing it up and it's left, you're going to make an adjustment next time. Or eventually you're going to make an adjustment. That's what we want to have happen here. So if we know we've got a good grip, correct ball position, correct setup, and good alignment, and the ball doesn't go at the target, we're gonna go through a little process of trying to figure it out. And in a lot of cases, you don't want to actually try to think too much about what you're doing. You just want to look at where the ball goes, pull another ball over, go through your routine, and hit the shot. Okay, so it's going to look like this. So I pull the ball over, I come back behind the ball, and I'm not going to talk through the rest of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around to the side. I'm going to line my club face up with the end of my white alignment stick. Then I'm going to look up at the target. I'm going to look back at the ball, and I'm going to hit it. And then I'm just going to accept the outcome and pull another ball over and repeat the process. And I'm going to hold my finish, or at least my feet, until the ball hits the ground. So that ball was a teeny bit off to the right. And I'm not going to overanalyze it. I'm just going to pull another ball over. Oh, look, there's a tee under it. Look at that. I dug up a tee. I'm going to pull another ball over. Find a little piece of grass. And I'm going to come, what I also do is check my contact on the club. So see, I'm happy about that. It hit the middle of the club face, right? I'll come back and just repeat the process. And I'm not going to worry about and think about like changing stuff for at least 10 minutes of doing this. But really, I think that if everybody would just make sure they've got their 4 pre-swing fundamentals down and they never deviated, they would get really good at this game. But you got to show up and practice, of course, too. But like, if you just give up on the alignment, like, forget it. If you give up on having a good grip, or bad ball, like especially the ball position, the grip and the alignment, boy, it's tough to recover from that. The posture maybe you can recover from a little bit, but those other things are really, really tough to recover from. Any questions on this before we get going? Does everybody have alignment sticks? If you don't have alignment sticks, what do you use? Your golf clubs, right. But get the sticks, because if you leave the sticks behind, which people do all the time, it's $2. If you leave your club behind, it's not good. All right, let's do it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.